good? What's good? What's good, baby? Welcome to the Nothing But Sports Show on NBS Central. I don't want to call it radio, our podcast. NBS Central, man. I'm your boy Truex, the sports junkie. And as y'all can see, I'm on video, but I got my main man, my brother from another mother, my dog Keo, holding down the West Coast on audio. What's good, Keo?
Yo, what's good, man? It's been a very interesting day. Um I know that people are looking forward to Battle Political tomorrow because it's pandemonium out there, man. But shout out to the BRC, all you battle rap fans out there.
Big
But
facts.
this is not the battle rap show. Anything concerning the Nbs Power Rankings, blaming on the my contemporaries who did voted on that process. I'm only 25%. But with that being said, this is the NBS show, the Nothing But Sports show. Let's go.
He's actually not. He's actually not 25%. We added people to the voting process, so he's not 25%. And he got most of his people in while I didn't. But we'll talk about that tomorrow. Well, I'm not gonna go anymore.
Wow,
We got
come
something
on,
special for
man.
y'all.
We're gonna be all blast.
But with that being said, first and foremost, love of everything. Y'all know what the vibes are. But Keo, man, let's get to these topics. We got a lot of fire topics lined up today.
Okay, first topic. We're gonna kick things off in the NFL, man. NFL. It was an interesting week in Week 9 of the NFL. Um, and we start things off with our NBS Power Rankings. We got a lot of Power Rankings, but this is our Power Five rankings after 9 weeks of football. How do you have it?
It's real simple, man. Not too much. I can't say a lot of stuff changed. Coming in number one with their impressive win, despite not having four of their better players. And I'm talking about the Arizona Cardinals. No Kyler Murray, their MVP candidate. No DeAndre Hopkins, their superstar wide receiver. No AJ Green. No Chase Edmonds, who got hurt earlier in that game. And yet they go to San Francisco in Keel's area, the Bay Area, and they just beat down the 49ers, man. The return of George Kittle didn't matter. At the end of the day, the Cardinals took them to the woodshed. Shout out to the Cardinals. They're my number one team on my Power 5 rankings. Number two, I got the Tennessee Titans. Look, Tennessee, man, they lost Derrick Henry last week. They signed Adrian Peterson. A lot of people was not big on Adrian Peterson. There was some that was super high on Adrian Peterson. Well, Adrian Peterson scored a touchdown for all my fantasy owners out there, and the Titans go into L.A. and knock off the team that I think is going to ultimately win the Super Bowl. Von Miller did not play, so we still, got to look into that as well. He's still a little bit banged up, but I do have the Titans at number 2. At number 3 are those L.A. Rams. I feel like the Rams, for the most part, beat themselves. They had over 10 penalties. I think it was 11 or 12 for over 100-some yards. Matthew Stafford had a horrendous turnover near the Titans' goal line. The Rams just didn't play well. They didn't play well. I'm not taking nothing from the Titans, but the Rams didn't play well. So I'm going to give a lot of credit to the Titans, but I'm also going to state facts. I think the Rams are one of the better teams, and no Von Miller. I think with Von Miller, that team's a team to be reckoned with. So I got them at 3. At 4, I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of course, they got the go-to quarterback. We're not going to sit here and act like they don't. Tom Brady's always going to be a factor. That team is loaded. So I'm going with the Bucs at 4. And at 5, despite the loss, because I think they win if he plays, I got the Green Bay Packers, man. If Aaron Rodgers plays, I think that they win that game. And there's rumors, but we're not going to talk about the rumors just quite yet. But Aaron Rodgers, the Green Bay Packers, with Aaron Rodgers on the field, they're a different team. So I got them at 5.
Okay. Coming in at, man, shoot. My Cowboys, man. Shame on them. But I gotta call it how it is, man. So coming in at number 5 for me, I'm taking the team that's on a bye right now. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going to leave them at number 5 for me. Number 4, I'm also going with the I'm also going with the Green Bay Packers in this one. I think Green Bay without Aaron Rodgers, we've seen what type of team this is. I, you know, as long as Aaron Rodgers is there, man, this team is a solid team and they're a contender. Getting Devontae Adams back, so I'm rolling with the Green Bay Packers at number 4. Coming in at number 3, I'm going with the LA Rams. The LA Rams did come off a loss, but it was to a good team, so I'm gonna give them number 3. Coming in at number 2, I'm going with the Arizona Cardinals at number 2. Without Kyler Murray, Chase Edmonds, DeAndre Hopkins, they were able to squeeze by a win. But they did beat the 49ers. They were underdogs. I'm not high on the 49ers like that. I thought it was an automatic win for me. So I got them at number 2, but it was impressive though. Coming in number 1 for me is a team that I left off last week. I thought they should have been on there, but just based off the injury with one of their big stars, which is Derrick Henry, you know where I'm going at. I'm going with the Tennessee Titans, man. Tennessee Titans, major wins. They got probably the best high quality wins out of any team that's on the power rankings right now. They just came off of a huge win against the LA Rams. They beat the Buffalo Bills. They also beat the Kansas City Chiefs. So I'm taking the Tennessee Titans without King Henry. I think that defense played really well also. So I'm going with the Tennessee Titans coming in at number 1 for the power rankings for the very first time. And that's
Wow.
how I
Okay.
got it.
Well, shout out to Redbone Rock. Shout out to Stroud. I appreciate both of y'all. Appreciate everybody that's in the chat, man, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, man. We definitely appreciate it. But what's up with the next one? The Titans. I got to see more, man. I don't know,
Titans.
man. I think
See more? Are you kidding me?
I got to see more.
Come on, man.
They are the
They
same
beat
team
your
that lost
Super
to the
Bowl
Jets.
pick, man.
They lost to the Jets, man. Come on, we're not doing that.
Oh yeah. Let's not talk about what these other teams lost to.
Well, I mean, the Cardinals, I had them number 1. Their one loss was to who? The Packers with Aaron Rodgers. Not a bad loss.
Yeah, but they got the best resume though. High quality of wins though, man.
Well,
You match their wins.
We'll see.
Huh?
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what's up.
Yeah,
we'll see if that defense can hold up Redbone Rocks. We'll see that.
We'll see. We will see. Just like my fantasy team.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. I got a dub this week too, so we're not gonna do that.
Yeah, so did I for the last 5 weeks. All right.
Man, Go ahead. Let's get to the next topic. Man.
All right, the next topic is there was a lot of major upsets this past weekend in the NFL. So we had the Bills getting knocked off by the Dolphins, the Giants losing to
Jags.
the Jags. Okay, sorry about that. The Giants knocking off the Raiders. And obviously the Cowboys getting knocked off also by the Denver Broncos. So out of these upsets, and you could add any that I missed that I may missed on that list right now. What was the biggest upset this past weekend?
Come on, man. It's not even debatable, man. It's the Jags beating the Bills. Are you kidding me? The Bills was a team that was on our power rankings for the past few weeks. The Bills look like a Super Bowl contender. They look like a team that a lot of people thought in the AFC could actually win the AFC. And to lose to the Jaguars with a rookie quarterback and a rookie head coach is mind-boggling to me. And then not only that, they scored 6 points. I'm going to repeat that. The Buffalo Bills, the highest scoring team in the league, scored 6 points this past week versus the Jacksonville Jaguars, bro. For me, it's clear as day. I got them as my biggest upset of the week. The Buffalo Bills got upset for sure.
Did you just say it's not debatable?
It's not even debatable.
Well, I'm about to make it debatable right now. I am going with my Dallas Cowboys losing this past week. They were going into the game 6-1, just like my fantasy team.
He keeps saying that.
Okay, they were going 6-1. I had them on the very top of the list from the power rankings from last week's show at number 2, and I felt like they were playing the best football out of any team out there, and they went into this game. They got Dak Prescott back, all players healthy. Trayvon Diggs been playing lights out, playing at home also, and they took it now. They got annihilated, man. They were down. The score doesn't look as bad, but anybody that paid attention to the game or watched the game, it was bad, man. They were nearly getting shut out the entire game. No answers at all. Dak Prescott was playing horrible. So I definitely had this as the biggest upset. As far as the Bills and Jags goes, I thought I thought it was a trap game for Buffalo, but as far as this game, I never expected the Dallas Cowboys to lose to the Denver Broncos in the game, just the way this team has been playing on both sides of the ball. So I definitely had the Dallas Cowboys as more of the bigger upset than with the Bills game, because the Bills game, it was a close game, low scoring game, but with this game it was already out of hand from the jump.
See, but that's my argument. And look, at the end of the day, I'm not knocking. Everybody has their own opinion. I respect your opinion, but I respectfully disagree. At the end of the day, the Broncos are a 5-win ball club. The Jacksonville Jaguars had 1 win going into that game. They won against Buffalo, a team that probably was looked upon as the number 1 team in the AFC, if not top 3 team for sure, with Tennessee and possibly, other teams like Baltimore. But at the end of the day, the Bills got embarrassed, man, by the Jacksonville Jaguars, a team that I am almost guaranteeing will have a top 5 pick in the upcoming draft. That can't happen. At the end of the day, let me just say this last thing. I'll let you talk like you like to say. Let me just point this out. At the end of the day, the Jacksonville Jaguars have no chance of making the playoffs this season. Right now, the Broncos are fighting for a playoff spot. Would it surprise me if the Broncos made the playoffs? Yes and no, but they're right there. They're a 5-4 ball club. The Buffalo Bills are 5-3. So they're right there with Buffalo, a team that most people think is a Super Bowl contender. So the AFC, I don't think everybody at least has 2 losses in the AFC. So Denver's not far behind. Dude, Jacksonville has no chance. They are for sure getting the top 5 pick in the upcoming draft. And that's pitiful to me. The floor is yours.
Man. Come on, man. They beat the Giants.
Come on, bro.
The Jaguars. The New York Jets. Come on, man. These wins,
the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, exactly, man. These teams that they beat are pitiful, horrendous right now, man. I'm not sold into them being a playoff team, if that's the narrative that you're trying to paint for them. You set it up really nice, though.
I got a question for you.
What?
How about them Cowboys? Oh!
Yeah, man. Well, we'll definitely see. I mean, another upset you can say is, the Falcons beating the Saints.
No.
We all thought New Orleans was gonna come in there and dance around
No,
the
don't say
little.
we. I don't put me in that.
You know damn well if we picked that game, you would have had the New
Hey, you'll
Orleans
never know
Saints.
because we didn't pick that game.
Yeah, whatever. You know better than that.
Hey, I'm not sold the Saints. Y'all are. And I love the
All right.
Saints. Who that?
All right, let's go to our very next topic, and we will be discussing Odell Beckham. He's finally a free agent with all this fiasco in Cleveland. Finally leaves, clears waivers now. Now he's an official free agent, and anybody's able to pick him up. Basically, based on how the waiver list goes. So, who should be the first to sign Odell Beckham Jr.?
I mean, this is for me clearly no debatable, not debatable, I should say. The clear answer. Shout out to everybody in Wisconsin. I'm about to make y'all turn up. Where my cheese heads at is the Green Bay Packers. You know, right now they're going through something with the whole Aaron Rodgers and the vaccine. Everybody's talking about that. That's what's going on in Green Bay right now and around the NFL. This story would actually take away from that story and actually put Green Bay into somewhat of the limelight and take that pressure so much off of Aaron Rodgers. And then when you look at what Green Bay has to offer, they have a number one receiver in Devontae Adams. And we've been waiting for quite some time where if it was going to be Marquez, Van Scantling, or Adam Lazar, or Randall Cobb's not the same player he once was. They need a true number two. And if you bring in Odell with that quarterback throwing the ball, a quarterback that he's going to respect, a quarterback that's going to respect his talents, that's going to find a way to get him the ball with the Aaron Jones, with the A.J. Dillon in that backfield, I think this is a match made in heaven for all sides. I think it's good for publicity for the Packers. I think it's good for Odell's career. We know when Odell's, if you really want to go back and be honest with ourselves, the moment Odell's career took a bit of a nosedive, ironically, was in Green Bay for that playoff game when the Giants took on the Green Bay Packers. And Odell, you know, he went to Miami that weekend or that week before and was partying and he got a lot of negative publicity for that. And they ended up losing that game. Odell didn't play well. And from there, Odell kind of went downhill from there. Well, ironically, if he ends up back there, that could be the place where he turns his career back around and he becomes OBJ again, Odell Beckham Jr. And I think this is a match made in heaven. I think this is the clear-cut favorite. Look, I hear my Saints want to sign him. That's cool. But in reality, I don't think he's going to do much in New Orleans. If he resurrects his career, I think it's going to be in Green Bay. So I'm going with the Packers.
I am going with I originally had the what is that? The Las Vegas Raiders, but after all that drama that's going on over there and the issues that they have, which we'll be talking about in a bit, I don't think it's the right fit. I originally had that after the news I found out today, but now I think the team that fits best for Odell Beckham and that team that he can be successful with is I'm gonna I'm gonna go with the Kansas City Chiefs.
I ain't mad at that. That's not a
I
bad
think
fit neither.
I think the Chiefs is a team that he could definitely excel in, especially the way this offense runs. And McCole Hardman has not been that number, I guess, number three option on that team that they've been looking for. He's been really inconsistent. And I know that they picked up Josh Gordon also, he hasn't getting the proper playing time I thought he would get. And I think Odell Beckham would definitely fit great in there. Yeah, I think he would definitely take a lot of heat off of Tyreek Hill also. because teams are starting to figure up Tyreek, and teams starting to figure up Travis Kelce, which one of the reasons why Mahomes is kind of struggling right now. So I think you put Odell Beckham in there, a guy that could still make plays happen. I think it would be great, not just for Mahomes, but for Odell Beckham also. So I think he would have the best shot. But based off of the way the waiver list goes, I think on the top of the list, the Houston Texans are on top of the waiver list right now to get Odell Beckham, and the Detroit Lions.
Well,
So I think.
he cleared waivers
Oh,
today.
he did. Okay,
Yeah, he
okay.
cleared
Oh,
waivers. So he's free to sign with whoever he wants now with.
wow. Okay, but yeah, I think the Chiefs would be a great fit. Just the way things are going in Las Vegas, I would think it would be the Raiders, but I highly doubt it now.
He did say rumor came out that he wants to play for a Super Bowl contender. And I think both of those teams could definitely use him. I like the Chiefs. I don't think that's a bad fit for him. I'll say a dark horse, and I want you to give me a dark horse in your opinion too, okay?
All right.
I'm going to say a super dark horse. I'm going to say the Atlanta Falcons. I think that's the dark horse. I think it's going to be Green Bay. I'm standing on that. But I think a dark horse is the Atlanta Falcons because of the Calvin Ridley situation. I don't think that they have a true number one. I know they got Tajay Sharp. I know they got Gage. They got those guys. But none of those guys, to me, are number one receivers. So you're hearing it first. I think a dark horse team that may get Odell Beckham may end up being the Atlanta Falcons. I think that Matt Ryan, you give him a target like Odell, you already got Mr. Pitts at tight end. I think that would be a good look for him. So as a dark horse, I'm going to go with Odell going to the Atlanta Falcons, but my favorite clearly is the Green Bay Packers. You have a dark horse for us, Keel?
A dark horse for me would be the LA Rams.
Oh, wow.
I think LA Rams could be a dark horse, and the Seattle Seahawks also could be a dark horse.
Okay.
As long as Russell Wilson is back, I think he could definitely do some damage there.
Okay. Fair enough. We can go to the next one
All
then,
right.
boss.
All right. So our next topic is we'll be talking about the Las Vegas Raiders right now. So Henry Ruggs, from John Gruden to Henry Ruggs, now to Damon Arnett. The Raiders have officially released him. So when it comes to the Las Vegas Raiders now, man, especially with all the troubles that this team has been receiving right now, man, um, what should the Raiders do with their recent troubles from the season that's occurring right now?
I think they should just stay the course. I think they should not sign Odell Beckham. I think that's just another situation that they don't need. They don't need that type of situation in LA. I mean, Vegas. I think that having Odell come in there, would give. I mean, of course, it'd be exciting for a little while, but if they don't win, it's gonna go downhill from there. I like their young core receivers. I mean, you talked about Hunter Renfrow for quite some time. I think we need to see if Edwards is that guy. Zay Jones could finally take that emergence that they kept blowing up in Buffalo for quite so long, and then he went to Oakland, and then now he's with the Vegas Raiders. Well, he went to Vegas, and now he has a chance to show his skill level. It's unfortunate what happened with Henry Ruggs. At the end of the day, that's not on the Raiders. That's on Henry Ruggs. When it comes to John Gruden, that's on John Gruden, not the Raiders, in my opinion. The Raiders, they hired who they thought was best for these positions, and unfortunately, it didn't pan out for them. In life, that's part of life. I mean, the Raiders do need to do a better job, I think, with drafting, but that goes back to not just this group of guys. It goes back in their history. And probably the last 20 years, I feel like they've dropped the ball in the draft sometimes. But all in all, I do like the fact that the Raiders are willing to call it quits if they see something's wrong or if they see something's not right within their organization. They're willing to move on. You know, we can go back to the Antonio Brown situation. They let Antonio Brown out. You know what? Antonio Brown came over from Pittsburgh. It was a big thing. And they thought, he was going to turn that culture around and be great. But obviously it didn't work out. They moved on from him. John Gruden had the situation this year, moved on from him. Henry Ruggs did what happened with him. They moved on from him. They're not afraid, no matter where you get drafted, no matter how much money they pay you to move on from you if you're not the right guy. And I respect that. Now, moving forward, they have to draft better. They have to, build a nice culture over there, a good culture, one that's respected. I know we respect the Raiders back in the day, but it's been a long time since the Raiders were respected on a level like they want to be respected. You know, the just win, baby, the Al Davis old quotes. The Raiders have some work to do, but I think they can get there. I do think they can get there. They have a lot of young core guys that can do well. So we're gonna see. I think that they're headed in the right direction. I do like Josh Jacobs a lot. I do like Hunter Renfrow, Derek Carr. You gotta let him finish up the season, see what he can do. Darren Waller's an absolute monster at tight end. I think they need to get him more involved. But all in all, I think they need to just get the right people in there and they'll be fine.
I'll tell you exactly what they need to do. They need to get rid of their general manager, Mike Mayock. The only reason that he's there because John Gruden brought him in there. And you look at the two first round picks that they've had, Damon Arnett and Henry Ruggs. He drafted those scrubs. I mean, okay, I apologize for that. I don't want to call anybody scrubs because obviously they're in the NFL for a reason, so that's my fault. But I I just think that he drafted both of those players, man. And you look at now, it's a waste of a draft pick, man. It's like you when you draft somebody in the first round, you build on your future and you look at the things that they have done. I mean, one by trading away Khalil Mack, get rid of Amari Cooper. Those things, you know, raises a lot of eyebrows and questions, man. And then just the thing with Damon Arnett, man, I just think that Mike Mayock, I just don't think he has any business there. I mean, what reason does he has to be there now? Um, and I just think they need to reset their whole entire front office. I think Mark Davis definitely has to step in and do something about this because this is, I look at this more of a new era that they're doing, man. And the way this new era of the Las Vegas Raiders are starting is not looking good at all. You know, you're in a new town, I mean, new city, Las Vegas. You're playing in the new stadium also. So, you know, I think the vibe is definitely different. Definitely a new roster, new coaching staff, and you just might have to redo a reset once again, man. You got to probably look for a new coach. You probably got to look for a new GM. You know, you got to you got to get yourself a new wide receiver. So there's a lot of things this team has to address in the off season, man. And the sad part about it is they could even make it to the playoffs, man. They got a 500 record right now. I was
Yep.
and you know, I definitely was surprised that they lost to the Giants, but I mean, it's not looking good for the Raiders, and it sucks for Damon Arnett posting threats on live. I don't know what the hell he was thinking, but you know, posting death threats live on video. And I don't know what he was thinking about that. Henry Ruggs, that thing is just unacceptable. The only thing that I will make an argument on is John Gruden. You know, it may not be the most popular thing, but you know, this thing with John Gruden happened 10 years ago, man. And you know, you bring it back on the guy now. I mean, but you know, we could bring back. this topic somewhere down in the future, but that's where I stand with when it comes to the Raiders by removing Mike Mayock as a GM and starting fresh all over again.
Who you think the Raiders should hire to be their new head coach next year?
Damn, that's a good question, man. You know, the Raiders' job is a high-profile job. It's, you know, it takes it's a huge responsibility. But if it's somebody that I think that could fit this job well, man, the list is. I'm not sure, man. I don't think I think somebody from the college rankings could possibly land that job. Um, yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell you right off the top, man. Um,
Well, okay.
I mean,
I
there's a
got
few
two.
names that pops up.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was
No,
just
go
going to
ahead.
say I have two names that I think would be definitely interesting if they can definitely get them. Number one, we know the Raiders are not afraid to spend money. They're willing to spend money to, get the guy that they want in there. And how ironic would this be if they went out there and got Tony Dungy to come out of retirement? You got, they got John Gruden to
Wow.
come out of retirement. I think that's an interesting one. I don't think it would happen because I don't think Tony Dungy wants to coach. But I think that's interesting. That would be a good fit, too, I think, as far as culture. I think he could build that culture up the right way. And the second guy is a guy that I've been saying now. I won't sit here and lie. They haven't been impressive this year, but I do like Eric Bieniemy. I think Eric Bieniemy can come in there. He's part of that Kansas City juggernaut of our offense. They haven't looked like no juggernauts this year, but I do think that he needs to get a shot. I think it would be interesting to see what he can do in Las Vegas. So he'd be my second choice. But one of those guys, if you want a new school, I'd go Eric Bieniemy. If you want old school, I would probably go Tony Dungy. And I'll throw one more name out there, Byron Leftwich. Just seeing what he's doing out there in Tampa, I think is very, remarkable, even though, because you have to look at it, that's Tom Brady. He's the GOAT. Is he really going to have to listen to you at any point? But yet they making it work down there. They got a Super Bowl ring. So that'd probably be my third choice. But one of those three guys I think would be great for their culture.
Okay. Yeah, I like those names. Those names could definitely qualified candidates. But let's go over to our next topic, and this is the part where we pick our games. Last
Okay.
week, we post our picks every week. Last week, you came out with a 5-2 record.
That's light.
Me, yours truly, I came out with a 6-1 record.
That's light.
Shout out to the Rams for messing up my perfect score. But let's go for this week. What we have on this week. First
Wow.
game on the list, we have the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson, NBA Central's Player of the Week for Week 9,
Yep.
going against the Miami Dolphins.
Who I didn't vote for, by the way. I didn't vote for Lamar Jackson, but shout out to Lamar Jackson. I actually voted for Josh Allen of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Duval, what up? But I got the Ravens, man. We don't know who's gonna be the starter. It looks like it's gonna be Jacoby Brissett again. It could be Tua, but either or, it doesn't matter. I got the Ravens taking that one.
Yeah, I definitely got the Ravens also. I'm just not sold on Dolphins. Probably the most one of the disappointing teams this year I thought was gonna come up. So I got the Ravens. Next matchup, we got the Cleveland Browns versus the New England Patriots. Both teams are 5-4.
Man, Nick Chubb like he might not play. They do got Mr. Dearness Johnson still. I'm gonna go with the Browns, even though I think the Patriots have played
Wow.
good football. I'm gonna go with Cleveland. I think Cleveland's running game is just too much for what New England can handle. I think they're gonna beat them up, even though New England has a pretty good defense. I think the Browns beat them up as far as in the trenches, and then play action over the top. I'm going with the Browns.
For the first time ever this season, I am picking against my Cleveland Browns.
Oh God.
I'm taking the New England Patriots. New England Patriots been looking pretty impressive as of late, man. So I'm rolling with the Patriots in this one, man. So yeah, I'm rolling with the Patriots over the Browns. Next matchup, man. We got the New Orleans Saints versus the Tennessee Titans.
Shout out to my dog, man. What up, Coach Chapman? You know what the vibes are. He's actually going to the game. I said it going to the season. Look, big Saints fan, who that nation stand up. But I got the Tennessee Titans. I just don't think that the Saints are that team right now. Especially losing Jameis Winston. I know a lot of people were saying they need to move on from Jameis Winston. Well, now we get to see what they look like without Jameis Winston. We get Trevor Siemian. We get a little bit of Taysom Hill. But I mean, it doesn't matter who starts. They're going to lose this game in Tennessee. So I got the Tennessee Titans beating the New Orleans Saints.
Based off of NBS Central records this past year, every time you picked against the Saints, you are 0-3.
Well, I hope I'm
So,
moving
with
forward.
that being said, I'm taking I'm taking the Saints in this game.
Wow.
Yeah, I think they'll bounce back from this game. I think the Saints, especially when they're coming off of a loss, they always find a way to bounce back. So I'm definitely taking the New Orleans Saints to win this game. I think they'll be able to get it done with some gritty, grind out defense, running the ball with Alvin Kamara, and I think whoever the quarterback is, I think they'll be able to make enough plays. So I'm rolling with the New Orleans Saints to win this game.
Okay. Shout out to who that nation.
All right, the next matchup we have the Minnesota Vikings versus the LA Chargers.
Man, bro, I keep picking the Vikings, bro. I keep saying it's a playoff team. But for whatever reason, they keep making me look bad, man. I picked them last week versus Baltimore. They played well, but they gave up a late lead to the Ravens. This is my last time. I'm taking the Vikings. Not confident, but I got the Vikings beating the Chargers. The Chargers haven't looked great lately. They did get the dub last week versus Philly, but I just don't know. The Chargers don't look like that team that they were early on. So I'm gonna go with the Vikings in this one. I like what I saw from Dalvin Cook. We know what those two wide receivers can do. So I'm gonna go with the Vikings on this one.
I'm taking the Chargers in this game. I think the Chargers. I think you know they'll find a way to move the ball. I'm not too confident with the pass defense with Minnesota. Just with Mike Williams, the way he's been playing, Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, and the boys, alongside with Justin Herbert. Man, rolling with the LA Chargers at home in this game.
Okay.
All right, next matchup we have the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Denver Broncos.
Ooh. I'm gonna take Denver, man. I'm gonna take Denver in this one. Even though I like what I see from Philly, I want to say this, man. I like the way Jalen Hurts plays, and I was wrong. I said, look, man, Jalen Hurts is not that guy. I'm not saying he is that guy, but I like how much passion he plays with. That dude gives it his all when when it's time to get a first down. He goes all out to get that first down, which I highly respect. But ultimately, I just think that the Broncos are a better team, more talented at this point, older, more wiser at this point. I'm going with the Broncos coming off of a big win versus the Cowboys, and they get another win over NFC East team.
I'm taking the Eagles, man. I like the way the Eagles been playing. The record doesn't show it. I think the last couple games they've been playing some real good football. Jalen Hurts been definitely has improved as a quarterback this year. Um, I think the receivers, man, is the huge issue, man. And they got a couple injured players. Running game is one of the issues that they have a hard time of getting it going. I just think that the Broncos will not be able to move the ball like that, and that's why I'm taking the Philadelphia Eagles to beat the Denver Broncos.
Okay.
All right. Our next matchup that we have is the Sunday night game, AFC West matchup between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Las Vegas Raiders.
Well, I don't like the way Chiefs been looking. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. So shout out to all my Chiefs fans out there. I'm gonna take the Chiefs, but not confident. I'm not that confident in that pick. I'm taking the Chiefs just because I think that all the stuff that's been going on with I keep saying Oakland, Las Vegas, I think, is just as bad as what's going on in Kansas City as far as that offense and how they're moving the ball and playing offense. With that being said, I think the Chiefs they figured out enough to beat the Vegas Raiders, so I'm going with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm going with the Chiefs also, man. Just all the issues. I think it's going to be a huge distraction, and that's why I'm rolling with the Chiefs in this game to beat the Raiders.
Okay.
All right. Sunday night matchup. It's the Rams versus the Niners.
I got the Rams. Stop playing games, man. What we doing? Rams gonna smoke them boys off of a loss. It's over for the. Shout out to the Niner gang out there in my Bay Area. Y'all know. Shout out to all my people. Tell your sisters I said what's up. But yeah, man, they getting smoked this Sunday night. I got the Rams. Stop playing.
Wow. Yeah, I definitely have the Rams also, man. Just coming off of an L, I think they're gonna put up a lot of points on the board, man. So I'm taking the Rams in this game.
I got a fun fact for you.
All right, so
I
we
got a
move.
fun fact for you. The last time the Rams won the Super Bowl, they lost to the Tennessee Titans when they were, I think, the number one seed in their division. They lost to them and ended up going to the Super Bowl and actually beating the Tennessee Titans. Just to throw it out there.
Okay, thanks. All right, so we move on to college
What was the Monday night
football.
game?
College football.
Was the Monday night game?
That was the Monday night game. The Rams.
That was the Sunday night game.
No, the Chiefs and Raiders was the Sunday night game.
Okay, my fault.
So, damn, the two. I still consider the Raiders a Bay Area team.
They are.
And Sunday night, you get the Raiders at home, and then Monday night, you get the Niners at home. Bad thing about that is both of those teams going to lose. All right, let's go to college football now, man. What we normally do is our winners and losers for college football.
All right, I got my losers, Michigan State. Stop playing games, man. You lose to Purdue. That's unacceptable. You was in the playoffs. You probably had the Heisman front runner up until that point. And no shade to Kenneth Walker, played good football. Around $150, a touchdown, averaged about almost 7 yards a carry. Played great football, but I'm going with them as my loser. And my winner, based on the fact that they lost, is the teams that needed them to lose, like the Oregons, like the Cincinnati's of the world. I think those are all winners. I think that, Cincinnati, most importantly and most notable, I'll say is the biggest winner because they got past their opponent this past week and they had Michigan State lose. So I'm going with the Cincinnati Bearcats as my winner, Michigan State Spartans as my loser. Even though Cincinnati barely hung on to knock off Tulsa.
Okay. Now for my losers, I'm gonna go with no, yeah. I'll go with my losers first. My losers. I'm also going with um Michigan State. No. Since you said Michigan State, I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna go with Wake Forest.
Okay.
Like I said, I always thought Wake Forest was a pretender. They were ranked 10th in the nation. I think we both picked North Carolina to win that game,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously they did not disappoint us. And they end up losing that game, man. So I definitely have Wake Forest losing that game. That it was a high scoring game though, 58-55. I think was the most by both of those two programs, but I definitely have them as my losers, and it just killed their chances of any playoff chances, even though I didn't think they have a chance at all.
Okay.
Now, as far as my winners goes, I'm gonna go with Texas A&M. Um,
I like it.
Texas A&M. They're pretty much in line to win the SEC West. Um, they beat Auburn. I had them beating Auburn. So that they're in control of their own destiny in the SEC West. They got that one um that one Alabama loss. No,
No,
wait, they beat
A&M beat
Alabama.
Alabama.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
No, no, wait. Yeah, yeah, and Auburn's quarterback Bo Nix, man, he definitely struggled, man. He was under 200 yards, had an interception. This probably might be the worst two-game stretch that he's had. So I definitely have them as Texas A&M as my winners. All right, with our next topic, we're going to,
Real quick,
everybody was high on.
I just want to say real quick, they're not in control of their own destiny as far as the West, because even though they beat Alabama, they have two SEC losses early on. So that's what's going to hinder them unless Alabama loses. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Just
That could possibly happen.
could absolutely. What happened this past Saturday, we can definitely see it.
All right, so since we were talking about Kenneth Walker and everybody was high on him, so from what you see right now, who are your top three players in Heisman contention right now?
I'm still sticking with Kenneth Walker. I think he played good. I think he played very well versus Purdue. Buck 50, a touchdown. He did his part. The defense didn't do their part. They put up 29 points, doggone near 30 points versus Purdue. That should have been more than enough. Michigan State's defense didn't get the stops that they needed when they needed to. So I'm not going to fault Kenneth Walker for that. I'm going Desmond Ridder. Over 300 total yards this past week, 3 touchdowns in a game they absolutely had to have. They're fighting for a playoff spot. Shout out to my boy Q, man. I see you just put Caleb Williams. That's a good pick. I just think Caleb Williams hasn't played enough for me to put him in there. And then last but not least, I'm going to see CJ Stroud. He had over 400 yards passing. My one concern about him is I think he's throwing the ball too much. He's throwing the ball way too much. They have to establish a better running game. To me, they're not going to get a dub versus the team that's going to, take that passing game away from them, run the football, neutralize that time of possession. So I'm concerned about him, but I'm going to put him up there because he has played some good football. But overall, that's my top three as of today. CJ Stroud, Desmond Ridder, and Kenneth Walker.
Um, I got Bryce Young on the top of my list right now.
Wow. After
I
that
think Bryce
performance versus
Young has,
LSU. Wow.
yeah, but, um, It was against LSU. The numbers did not support it. Um, I mean, he almost threw for 200 yards in the first half. I can't, you know, eliminate what he did, but he had a huge play in the third quarter when the huge play to Williams on the 58-yard score. Um, Young, he did fumble in the fourth quarter. Um, Nearly led LSU to steal a victory
Yep.
in Alabama, but
Yep.
Young, I think he's the right pick. He's has at least 6 games with at least 300 yards passing. Um, I think the big stage is set for him against Georgia in the SEC championship game. Like what you were stating earlier, i- if nothing happens to them moving forward through the rest of the season, it could possibly set up Bama and Georgia in the SEC championship game. So I definitely like his chances, and it's set up really well because he explodes against Georgia, the team that's ranked the first in the nation right now. So it could be ball game. Number two, I'm going with CJ Stroud, man. I've always liked CJ Stroud. He's put in crazy numbers. Um, Last game he had 36 for 54 for 405 yards and a pair of touchdowns. He did throw 2 interceptions. He did fumble late in the fourth quarter, but Stroud has over 2,600 yards passing, 25 touchdowns. Not bad for his first year as a starter, man.
Thanks.
I'm going with CJ Stroud. And number three, dropping all the way down to the list is Kenneth Walker. I mean, he did have, 136 yards rushing and a touchdown, but you lost, man. But the game that I was talking about, that Heisman moment game could be against Ohio State. Kenneth Walker has over 1,300 yards rushing, 15 touchdowns. But traditionally, that just like the NFL MVP, outside of last year, the Heisman always goes to a quarterback.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Most of the time it
Okay,
does.
so do you have a dark horse Heisman?
I like what Q said, Caleb Williams. I just don't think he played enough this season. That's going to get him the Heisman. I think that he'll probably be the front runner for next season. He's probably a dark horse. If he was to steal the Heisman this late in the season, I think that would be crazy. But I'm not saying it's impossible, so I would say that's probably my dark horse.
Dark horse, I'm going with Matt Corral, man. He had over 300 yards passing in the touchdown against Liberty. He didn't run much. Matt Corral has over 2,500 yards passing and 500 yards rushing, 26 total touchdowns. He could have 1,000 yards rushing really soon. Um, Ole Miss, they're in the mix for possibly maybe like a New Year's Eve bowl game, but I think Matt Corral might need more than that to be a Heisman finalist. So I'm
Okay.
rolling with him as a dark horse Heisman.
Okay.
All right, let's go. Let's go to our our games that we have.
Okay.
And the first thing that we're gonna be talking about is the first game we're gonna be talking about that we're gonna be picking is Michigan versus Penn State.
I got Michigan. Penn State, I think they dropped the ball early on, and I think it continues. So I'm going with Michigan. I think Michigan's still a good football team. I think they find a way to get the dub. I'm going with Michigan, boss.
Okay, I'm going with Michigan also. I think Michigan, they could possibly threaten maybe a playoff, um, possibly. So I'm going with Michigan in this game. Yeah, so definitely Michigan. Next
Before
matchup we have.
before you go into the next matchup, I just want to put out there they just got the notification. Georgia's number one. The college rankings came out as far as the college football rankings. Georgia number one, Alabama number two, Oregon number three, Ohio State number four, and Cincinnati's at number five. Michigan State dropped to number seven, while Michigan is ranked above Michigan State. See, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. That's crazy to me. That is crazy to me. But go ahead, Q. I'm sorry. I just wanted to get your initial thoughts. I think Michigan State should still be ranked in front of Michigan after what Kenneth Walker did to them.
Okay, so the next matchup we got now we are gonna go with Mississippi State versus Auburn.
I'm gonna go with Auburn, man. I think Auburn plays everybody tough. Auburn's had a tough schedule this season. They went up there to Happy Valley, played Penn State. That was a tough matchup. Obviously, they've gone through this SEC gauntlet. They're still going to go through it for the remainder of the year. But I like Auburn, man. They're hard-nosed. They're rugged. They're going to get this one, I think. They're going to get Mississippi State, so I'm going with Auburn.
Okay, next matchup.
Who
Oh,
you
no, wait,
got?
I gotta pick my gear. Auburn, man. I like Auburn. I like the defense. I think Bo Nix has not been playing the football I think he has been playing, but I'm still going with Auburn in this game.
Okay.
Okay, next matchup we have Oklahoma versus Baylor.
This is going to be a good one, man. This is going to be a good one. But I think Q's onto something with Caleb Williams. I think, you always had that late run from somebody that kind of like, ironically, with Spencer Rattler last year, that, you start thinking about next year. Who's that guy for next year that's going to be the front runner for Heisman? I think Caleb Williams continues to put, his imprint on this game, and I think that next year he'll be the front runner for the Heisman Trophy winner award. So I'm going to go with Oklahoma pulling out a shootout in this one versus Baylor.
Yeah, I'm taking Oklahoma too, man. I think Oklahoma offense is just too potent, too consistent. I think it's going to be a high scoring game, but I'm rolling with Oklahoma to win this game. All right. Let's go to our very next matchup, and we have Minnesota versus Iowa.
Really, two teams that should have been better. It's in Iowa.
Yes.
I got Iowa then. If it's in Iowa, I got Iowa. Iowa has let me down these past few weeks, but I think
Wow.
Iowa shakes back. They'll get the dub there in Iowa, so I'm going with Iowa.
The Hawkeyes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm taking Minnesota, man. With
Okay.
Brock Purdy. I like him, man. I like that guy, dude. And um wait a minute. Did I just make a mistake right now?
I was
Oh
wondering.
wait,
I was
no,
like,
I
I didn't
didn't.
see that game
Okay.
on the docket.
Okay. No, but I'm taking Minnesota though.
Okay, so
Minnesota
yeah,
with Coach Fleck,
okay.
and Purdy. So, based off of the top 25 matchups, we do for the first time this year have 6 games to pick.
Okay.
All right. Last matchup we are gonna be picking Texas A&M versus Ole Miss. The game will be in College Station.
Oh, I got A&M, man. A&M's physically, offensively, and defensively. Ole Miss is too finesse for me. I like Matt Corral. I think he may have a future in the NFL. I'm not as high on him as some people are, but I do think that Jimbo Fisher's going to have that team ready to go. I'm going with A&M at College Station. For sure.
Okay, I'm going with A&M also. I think A&M will be a very I think that they'll continue to win. I like the way this team has been playing. So I'm going with Texas A&M to win this game.
Okay.
All right. All right. So we're gonna go to one of our very last topics, and there was a boxing event that happened, and it was the Canelo Alvarez versus Caleb Plant. Canelo, mm, annihilation, man. I was wrong. Can't believe I'm can't. I'm not used to saying that on these shows, man. But hey, yeah, when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So, with that being said, man, when it comes to Canelo Alvarez, what's next for him?
More big fights. I mean, I know people are going to say, well, who should he fight? I mean, that's up in the air. We're going to see. I actually want to say this, and I know this is not popular. And Keo, I know that, you picked Caleb Plant to win the fight. But I actually thought Plant fought a pretty good fight. I'll have to be honest with y'all. I don't think that, especially early on, I don't feel like Canelo dominated the fight early on. I do think later on. The one thing I'll say about the fight, Plant had a good game plan, but his punches didn't seem to affect Canelo at all. When he was hitting Canelo, it's like Canelo was just walking through those punches. It was almost like he was getting hit by feathers. No disrespect to Caleb Plant. Look, at all love in the world. That's the pound for pound best fighter in the world, arguably. In my mind, he is. So there's no downplaying you. I'm just sitting there saying it's like he was walking through those punches, like he wasn't even feeling those punches. I don't know where Canelo goes from here. We could talk about maybe some people moving up to fight him. That would be big money paydays. Canelo maybe coming down a little bit or maybe even going up himself. But Canelo has solidified his legacy. There's no doubt about it. This guy is one of the greatest fighters of all time. The only fight that he ever lost was to Floyd Mayweather Jr., who's one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest boxer of all time. We're not debating that. We're just talking. He's one of the greatest fighters of all time. I think anybody can agree with that. And that was early on. This guy is ferocious. He's a true champion. Shout out to Canelo Alvarez. It's been a pleasure watching you, my friend. I can't wait to see what you do in the future.
Man, it is time
don't do that.
For Canelo Alvarez to hang it up, retire. It's time for you to pass the torch, my friend. Or as they would say it in Mexico, my amigo. And it's time to pass the torch, man. He's taking everybody out. He has wiped through his weight class, man. I mean, obviously he went through Triple G, Rocky Fielding, Daniel Jacobs, Sergey Kovalev, Callum Smith, Billy Joe Sanders, Caleb Plant. I'm like, come on, who, man, who really? Who's going to be out there and says, hey, man, this guy may give Canelo Alvarez a run for his money? Who? Like, the dude has all the money in this world. I mean, I don't know, maybe he just loves the sport like that, man. Um, so I don't know what's next for Canelo Alvarez, man. I really don't know what's next for him. Like, the only thing I could think of, maybe you could get a third fight with Triple G. Maybe you could get Demetrius Andrade. I'm hearing Benavides. Um, Like I really don't know who could go out there and says, "Hey, man, um, this guy could give Canelo a run for his money." Like it's just there's nobody out there that that could that I see. But there's one guy that I could, if I had to pick one guy, and I doubt this will happen, and I really think he could give Canelo a run for his money, but I think he should stay the hell away from him, and that's Jamal Charlo. Um, I think that's the guy that could possibly give Canelo a run for his money. He's 32-0 right now. He's a huge name in the boxing world right now. And I think it would be a great fight for both of these guys, man. It would be I would consider this a super fight, man, because Charlo's a big name, man. The Charlo brothers are a big name.
Absolutely.
People that follow boxing like that. I'm going with Jamal Charlo,
It
man.
would be a
Like
big
people
fight.
say
It'd be his
Benavidez,
biggest
but
fight with
Charlo
Canelo.
and Canelo. So do you think Charlo has a chance?
No. Um. Yeah, I gotta be
Wow.
honest. I don't think
Really?
he has a chance. Man, Canelo's just a different beast, man. He's a different monster, bro. He's just, you leave that man alone. You leave him alone, bro. That's not the one you want. But let him enjoy this moment right now. He unified all the titles, man. He's the man right now in boxing. Let him live up a little bit. Let him live up a little bit. We can revisit this later.
All right, so let's go to our very last topic for today. So we're gonna mix it up a little bit with basketball and football. So both of these teams are struggling right now when it comes to their respective teams. Both of these teams, they're projected to, I guess you could say, win the championship for their respective sports. And I'm talking about the NFL's Kansas City Chiefs and basketball's NBA, the LA Lakers. So out of these two teams who's struggling right now, if you had to pick one team to win the title, and obviously, based off of your predictions, you don't have them winning the title at all because you have somebody else in that prospective sport. But if you had to pick one team to win the title for that sport, who would it be?
Okay, so I picked both of these teams to
Like,
get to
who
the
has a better
championship.
chance?
I picked both of these teams
Yeah,
to
yeah.
get to the championship prior to the season start. After the Lakers would get there. I don't know about that any longer. I picked the Chiefs to get there. I don't know about that any longer. But if I had to pick one, excuse me, I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm going to say this. This is the reason why. In football, you can get hot. And it's a one game scenario. All you got to do is win that one game. In basketball, you got to win a series. So that means you have to be the better team. You may get lucky one night, but you're not going to get lucky 4 nights in a row or 4 nights within a week or a week and a half, 2 weeks. So I'm going to say, to me, I'm not a big fan of either one of these teams winning a championship this year. But if I had to say, I'm going to go with the Chiefs. The Chiefs are banged up. Let's understand that. Clyde Edwards-Helaire hasn't been healthy. They haven't been running the ball well. They haven't played great defense. I expected more from them, being that the way that they ended the season last year, just being a little bit more hungry. But it seems like teams have figured them out. But I think that we still have Patrick Mahomes, who's one of the best quarterbacks in football. You still have Andy Reid, who's one of the best innovative coaches out there. You got Eric Bieniemy, who we brought up earlier. I just look at this team and I say they're way too talented. They can pull it out. They're still young, too. A lot of young pieces over there. When you think about the Lakers, Anthony Davis is already banged up. Russell Westbrook, does he fit with them? Carmelo's older. LeBron's older. LeBron's banged up. I don't know, man. I just don't trust what they have more than I trust what the Chiefs have. And when you look at a one-game scenario to a seven-game series, I'm going with the Chiefs, but I'm not a big fan of either one. I don't know if either one could even get to the finals or to the Super Bowl. So if you push me into the corner and say you got to pick one, I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs.
I'm going with the Chiefs also.
Wow,
I think they
I
still
thought
have
for
a
sure you
lot
was
of
going with
time.
the Lakers.
Nah. I just think they still have enough time to get it together. And they've been able to squeeze by to win games, but I could tell that they're still struggling, man. They're not the normal Chiefs that's been lighting up the scoreboard like we're accustomed to in the past couple years. So I think they still can get it together. I think they still can be able to still grind it out and get themselves to the Super Bowl, because right now we can we see what the Titans are doing. We see what the Baltimore Ravens are doing, and even the Buffalo Bills. But the Kansas City Chiefs could beat all those teams right now. And it's one game, like you said, man. So I think when it comes to postseason time, I think Mahomes, he's the type of player that he'll definitely be ready, and I think he can take his team to the promised land. So I'm going with the Chiefs. As far as the Lakers goes, they're dealing with injuries right now. I think, I don't know, man, age maybe creeping up on LeBron. He's been injured as of late, banged up, and I don't know the way Russell Westbrook's been playing. I have not been impressed as of late. They've been taking a lot of L's. Um, and just seeing the way the Golden State Warriors been playing, Steph Curry with a 50 and 10 last night. Oh my God. And the Golden State Warriors, I know it's early in the season, but they're 9-1 right now. And this is all without Klay Thompson. So just imagine a healthy Klay Thompson comes back, the way this team could be. Oh, watch out now. So I'm going with definitely with the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they definitely have a better shot to make it to the title game and even win it compared to what we see from the Los Angeles Lakers, because they got a tough hill to climb when it comes to winning the NBA title.
Yeah, no James Wiseman either for the Golden State Warriors.
And
That's scary too.
yeah, well, there you have it, folks. It's time to get to our shout outs and wrap up today's show.
Well, look, first and foremost, shout out to my dog Keo. Shout out to the chat. Hey, Q, I see you in this piece. Look, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to put it out there. If Keo's with it, if Q's with it, if Dude's with it, if you with it, man, we can go undisputed. I said undisputed. What's the word I'm looking for? Oh, my God. I lost my train of thought.
Uncensored?
Uncensored. We can go uncensored right after this show. And we can talk about these power rankings, because I won't be on here tomorrow for Battle Political. I know that Q, they're going to do their thing. But I got some things to say. I'm going to tell who got robbed. I'm going to tell you, look, man, this is only for the month of October. Stop crying. All that crying in the BRC, man. What we doing? Look, you don't have to agree with it, but stop crying. All that crying, man, that's for the birds, man. Y'all know what it is, man. Thank you again. Shout out to Kia, shout out to Q, shout out to the whole MBS team, man. That goes for anybody on any show. I got number love for y'all, man. We appreciate you. This is your boy Trex, the Sports Junkie. Follow me on Instagram at the Sports Junkie or on Twitter at IamTrueX. Either one, hit me up, man. We can definitely come on this show. You can come on Battle Political. You can come on whatever you want to come on, and we can debate sports or battle rap. It's all love. With that being said, I'm out. Kia, what's up? Stop crying.
Yo, shout out to X. Shout out to X. Shout out to, everybody that, supports the NBS Central movement. Maybe go follow and subscribe. Um, First off, congratulations to NBS let's talk about it. Cece, she had her baby, I think on the day of Halloween. So yeah, so congratulations to Cece. And then I didn't know Red was on here, man. So Red, she's a huge sports fan. So she was in the comments. So shout out to her. She's also part of the show. And obviously Q also, shout out to him also. So shout out to the whole NBS Let's Talk About the team. Make sure you guys go check them out on tomorrow, man. And Battle Political, and hopefully, we'll be able to go uncensored tonight. So with that being said, this is the NBS Show episode 122. With that being said, man, we are officially out.